welcome to another episode of the Soothing Semantics podcast. I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, leave your comments. South Florida real estate. I'm your guy. Mamdani has just been elected in New York. I would love to help you if you're deciding to move to Florida. Now, I hope many of you will make Aliyah. I still live in the States, but I don't want to push anyone away from moving to Israel. So I hope that as many of you will move to Israel as possible. But if you decide, I want to stay in the States and you're planning on doing that anyway, then I hope you'll come to Florida. Uh, this week we have John Legarda on the show. It is such a pleasure to have you on the show. Your last
Thank
name,
you so
by the
much for
way,
having me,
sounds
man.
your last name sounds so Italian. What's your last name from?
Yeah, it's definitely not Jewish. My last name is actually Basque. You could say it's close to Italy. It's like a little state in northern Spain. My father is Basque. Everybody before him was Basque, so I'm half Basque, half Jewish. I don't tend to talk about it a lot on social media, but I should start.
That's interesting. That's very interesting because my father's side also isn't Jewish, but I grew up on my mother's side, raised by my grandmother.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. I mean, my father right now is just an atheist. He doesn't believe in anything, but he grew up Catholic. So in my house, I always had, the option of think freely of whatever I want to. If I want to go this way, go that way. So I can honestly say that my beliefs today are 100% my choice, having such a diverse house. So yeah, that's where the surname comes from.
So how did your dad end up in Israel? Your mom, I'm assuming was Jewish, lived in Israel.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of a background about that. That's
Well,
interesting.
no, actually, my mom is, she's not from Israel. They both were born and live abroad, but my mom always loved Israel. I mean, like many Jews from abroad, they always came to Israel to the kibbutzim to help in agriculture and do all these programs. And she always wanted to move in. Once she met my dad and the opportunity came, she had already a brother that made Aliyah. So they said, yeah, let's go. And my father already came to Israel traveling with my mom to meet her family, and he also loved Israel. And actually, one of the things that my father, as somebody who doesn't believe in God, loved about Israel is the people, is how people are treated here, is also the culture. He said people here learn to do everything with nothing. So that's something that he wanted his children to have, because that's not something they can learn in any other university. I mean, people here make businesses out of everything. People here go to the army and have to make up with almost nothing. So it's a culture that you can learn only by living it. So my father always loved the culture, always loved the people, and always loved the fact that we would have like a tribe. So like the Jewish tribe. So my mother always loved Israel. My father loved it as well. So we moved.
Amazing, amazing. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, so you were born in Israel or you were born elsewhere?
No, I was born in Spain.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so I imagine you speak Spanish perfectly then.
I speak Spanish, Portuguese, Hebrew, and English.
Nice, man.
I have four second
Nice.
languages.
Nice. Okay, so we are going to have an episode. We are going to talk very nicely about all the politiki about the Israeli and the Palestinian.
I don't know if there was Arabic, Italian, Portuguese, a little bit
I
of
was trying
everything.
to go for Portuguese. That was my goal. I might have fucked that up, but
Pretty close, pretty close.
22 futebol.
Yeah,
John, I see on first of all, you've been having some nice growth, which is fantastic.
thank you very
You're
much.
about to hit 5,000 subs on YouTube. So congrats on that. I
Yeah,
love your,
I'm pretty new to
yeah,
YouTube.
go
Yeah.
ahead. No, I cut you off. You're about to say something.
No, no, I was just saying that YouTube is pretty new to me. I mean, I'm about to hit 5K. First of all, thank you to the traveling clat, Taloran, who really helped me with that. He gave me like the first push, but yeah, YouTube is still very, very new to me. I'm still trying to get the gist of it.
Yeah, yeah, man. I've been doing it for a couple of years, dude. And speaking of Tal, man, Tal has been such a supporter, bro. He's such a fantastic human being.
He's amazing.
Love,
He's
love,
amazing.
love, 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 love that guy
He's one
so
of those
much.
people. He doesn't. Not only he's not afraid of competition. He wants people to arrive as further as they can. I mean, like he has zero competitivity. It's all ideology. He wants to help his friends. He wants to help move this along. I mean, some people might not want to tell you their secret. Tell us everything. He's like, yeah, guys, join me over here. He's amazing.
Because he's a real guy, man. He's a real motherfucker. He loves
He
what he
is, yeah,
does. He cares. He loves the Jewish people. He loves the brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter. He's just a wonderful, humble,
100%.
such a
People don't
humble guy.
understand how
Wonderful leader.
what a machine that guy is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he sleeps. I mean, you don't know how much he does. He travels. He shoots. He talks. I mean, the guy's. I don't know when he sleeps. To be honest, I mean, you can just look at all of his channels. He posts, I think, like 5 videos to YouTube a day, and he has also TikTok. He has Instagram. He has the whole thing. It's insane. And he does quality content. So yeah, he's
Dude,
insane.
that's Baghdadi, man. That's Baghdadi. I don't know if anyone was.
Abu Baklawa.
I might I might have been the one that started calling him that. He might have been. I have to ask him if anyone else called him that before,
All right.
but I hope I would be lovely if I could take the credit for the Baghdadi term.
Yeah.
I don't want any percentage on his Baghdadi shirts. That's all him. Um, yeah, you got to go get the merch. So anyway, yeah, we both love that guy very much. Now, I see you are a video producer, which makes
Mhm.
which makes a lot of sense because your content is very high quality. Your editing is fantastic. Even now, looking at you at your background here, it's simple, but everything's nice and crisp.
Thank you
So,
very much.
how did you? Yeah, man, of course. So, how did you end up going from being a video producer into the pro-Israel content? Um, since October 7th, I imagine you did
Hmm.
this really changed. So give us a little bit of a background.
Yeah. Before October 7th, I never thought I would do political or, whatever you want to call this kind of content, the advocacy kind of content. I mean, I was always interested in Israel and the history and the politics, but I mean, I never thought I would be like a one-man band talking. I never liked the exposure. I mean, I used to have like a podcast with a friend that we just had for fun, but nothing this size. And then October 7th came, and it was a shock to everybody, to a lot of us. And in the beginning, actually, for the first 2 weeks of the war, I was in my car. I was just driving around things. There was a lot of help needed driving around, food, aid, equipment, people. I mean, people who were taking away from the kibbutzim next to Gaza had to go to hotels, and they left things out, and they needed computers, and they needed food. And soldiers next to Gaza still need. I mean, so I was just driving around for 2 weeks in my car. And then when we finally in Israel had some trucks carrying the stuff that I was carrying, I said, okay, my little Hyundai is not really helpful anymore. What can I do? What can I do? And then I said, okay, let's make a video. For the very simple reason that, like I told you, I grew up in Spain, so I know exactly what people abroad see, what they hear, the news that they get about Israel. I knew that this is going to be a shit show. I mean, it was already starting to be a shit show. On October 8th, people already started chanting in the streets, Intifada, the gas the Jews, what was it? All those buzzwords, ethnic cleansing. So I said, okay, let's make a video in English explaining to the world what's going on. And the second video that I uploaded just exploded. I had a YouTube account, an Instagram account with like 200 followers. I posted my second video called Dear Pro-Palestinians, and it got almost 6 million views in like a week on Instagram. And I went from 200
Wow.
followers to like 8,000, 9,000 in just a matter of days. And just with that came a wave of phone calls, of messages, of emails. I mean, you need to understand, I was just a personal person with 200 followers. I mean, my friends and family saw those videos. And suddenly I have people from all over the world sending me, I mean, I got bombarded with messages, hundreds I had no idea how to deal with that stuff.
Right.
And that's just had the ball to start rolling. I had to deal with it. I had to learn how to do Instagram, how to do content. I basically said, okay, now you have a responsibility. You have all these eyes on you. You have this opportunity to actually convey the messages that need to be conveyed. It was scary as hell being private to suddenly public. But you know, the feeling of responsibility just got over me, and I just started pumping out content. So that's basically how it started. So people started in Israel inviting me to go on like tour on the Gazan envelope and go to see like things that were taken from the kibbutzim and inside of Gaza, all the web. I mean, it just started rolling. I started meeting people, but that was basically like the first step, that first video that I think got so viral because I was one of the first people to actually talk patiently to the other side. I mean, the video was Dear Pro-Palestinians. I wasn't saying, fuck you, you stupid people, you anti-Semites. No, because I understand what they see. I know that most of them have good intentions. They just see horrible lies about Israel. So, I mean, if I would grow up with that same amount of misinformation being pumped to me, I would hate Israel as well. So it was basically, hey, I know you guys have good intentions, but just understand that when you see Nazi flags in your protests, or when you say Intifada or River to the Sea, this is what it actually means. There was the overall idea. So I guess that's why it exploded. It was just something
awesome.
new in the landscape.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, it's one of your pinned. It's one of the pinned ones. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I didn't have even Twitter back then, and some woman called Rachel downloaded it and uploaded it to Twitter. And also there it got to 6 million views. Last time I saw it was like the first weeks of the war. And so many people retweeted it. Elon Musk commented on one of the retweets of I have a print screen of that. He just said agreed, but I mean, for me that's good enough. Bill Akerman, I
That's
think, reposted
amazing.
it. It was so many celebrities and people reposted it. It was insane.
That's crazy, dude. Wow. No, you definitely have a responsibility now, man. Dude,
That's what I do.
I hope the $7,000 check comes in soon.
I'm still waiting on it. I don't know where people are getting these
I know,
$7,000.
no, I
I
don't
don't
know
know where they're
anyone who's
getting
gotten it.
$10, but
I don't know
damn, I need
anyone
the
who's got.
money because
Yeah, I
this is
know,
not
right?
making any money. Yeah.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, I mean, one of the reasons that I thought maybe start putting more time into YouTube is because I can monetize through YouTube. Because in the end, I'm not making any money out of this, and I would love to keep on doing this. So I at
YouTube
least would
is.
like to pay rent. You know what I mean? So I can keep doing this. So I don't have to have two jobs and do this on the side. So maybe that
YouTube
helps.
is, yeah, YouTube. That's why I've always been more YouTube focused because there's a lot more upside. It's harder to grow because people don't have attention spans. But I'm saying like YouTube is where
Yeah,
it's at, man. It really is. I mean,
I'm still trying
all
to figure out
focus on
what
all the
content I need
platforms.
to put on YouTube.
Say again.
I'm still trying to figure out what content I should put on YouTube because I mean I have a podcast called Heroes of Zion that I've been posting like clips of it where I just bring people who have been in one of the front lines to talk about what they've seen because everything we hear about Gaza, Judea, Samaria, Lebanon is from the news. So I wanted to bring actual people who can say, yeah, I was here, I saw this, I experienced this, and that's doing all right on YouTube. But my highly edited videos, they take, I mean, if you count the writing, researching, editing, everything, it takes like 3 days, 3 to 4 days each one. So I don't really have time to post one of these every week.
It's a lot of work.
So yeah, I'm trying to
Tremendous
figure out
amount of
what to
work.
do. Yeah,
Well, hopefully you can delegate, Hopefully you can delegate. I mean, it's hard because delegating is tough when you're very particular. You
yeah,
do it at a high level, sending it to Fiverr to someone in the Philippines. You just when you're a creator and you have an imagination and a vision, it's like you're not gonna create the way I'm creating. I understand that it's tough. It's tough. And then it takes up so much of your time and it doesn't bring you the profit. But man, I just keep doing it, bro. Just keep doing it.
for
That's all
sure.
I say. Just keep
Yeah.
doing it. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty, the meat and potatoes. We are now in a situation with this peace plan where we have the live hostages back, thank God. We still have dead hostages, unfortunately, non-alive hostages that are not completely back yet.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I'm not sure what the percentages of Gaza that the IDF still holds, 52, 54, 56%, somewhere in the 50%.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Hamas seems to be regrouping. I mean, that seems to be, we know they are. Um, what do you think is going to be? I'll give you my thoughts. If I don't know if you've had a moment to listen to any of my stuff, or where I lean on the political spectrum. I'm a right wing guy. I just see that as logical. Quite frankly, I just see that as being a critical thinker.
Hmm.
I am of the belief of total sovereignty. I'm of one state. I don't believe in citizenship for Gazans and Judean Samaria Arabs. If anything, they should have residency if they're going to stay. But citizenship, I'm not for because of a population and voting issue. But yes, I am the I you will not find somebody who is more opposed to two states than me.
Hmm.
Massively opposed.
100%.
So what are your just to give you context? So what's your
You touched here a few things. If we're first of all talking like big picture, two-state solution, I have two opinions. One is
Mhm.
the first one is like ideologically. If everything was as I wanted it is perfect, then yeah, I would love a two-state solution. One where the Arabs of Judean Samaria, the Palestinians, whatever they want to call themselves, they don't care about me. They don't care about me. Annette Wilf in her book puts this masterfully. She says that also she thinks the best solution is a two-state solution if the Arabs recognize Israel as a sovereign Jewish state. Because up until now, that's been the problem. I mean, Fatah and the Palestinian Authority has recognized Israel as a state, not as a Jewish state. Hamas doesn't want to recognize Israel as a state at all. A lot of Arab countries still don't want to recognize Israel as a state at all. So once they recognize Israel as a Jewish state, they recognize the fact that the 1948 war has been finished. There's no right of return. There's no refugees. It's done. And they just want to build their own place and live their life. Then yeah, I would love a two-state solution. Realistically, as of right now, November of 2025, I don't think that is realistically with the current ideologies that we're seeing being spread around Judea, Samaria, and Gaza. I mean, the
Mhm.
main ones when you look at the polls and stuff. So that's basically I don't see right now with the current leadership from the Arabs any opportunity for a two-state solution. I don't see anybody right now that would lead them to a place where we can just coexist one next to each other.
Mhm.
Those are my overall. But when we're talking more about Gaza right now, more small picture, the situation is much worse than I thought we would get to. Because I really, in the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, I really thought, now Israelis learned what the actual situation is in Gaza, what the Gazans want, what they want towards Israel. Maybe this will actually be the last war, the last Israel-Gaza war, because we will get actual long-term solutions between Israel and Gaza, which means no more terrorist organization ruling over Gaza or an organization that wants the end of the Jewish state, disarming Gaza, and changing the education not to teach people, kids, that exploiting yourself or being a terrorist is the best thing you can do. But then came this agreement. And I read the agreement. The agreement is, this Trump peace agreement, 20-point peace agreement. When you read it, verbatim, it's great. I mean, if we do all the steps, it would be amazing. But that's not what's happening on the ground. Right now, like you said, where Israel is on the 54%, 53% line. And we still have Hamas terrorists, even in Rafah, right now, that are asking to be returned to the yellow line for free, not giving back any of the hostages. Hamas was supposed to give back all of the hostages ever alive in the first 72 hours. It's been more than a couple of weeks, and they still haven't returned all of the hostages. We saw them staging them finding a dead hostage. I don't know, if you've seen, there's a drone footage of Hamas
Yeah, I saw that.
going, yeah, exactly, and the Red Cross, a whole staging theater. So they're obviously lying. We knew they are lying.
But do they
Hamas
even
is
know where
supposed
they
to,
are? Do they even really know where these dead hostages are? That's really the
apparently they
question.
do. If they can drag them and make a whole state. Look, I'm sure there's like a handful of them that they might honestly really don't know where they are. But that's also one of the shifts that we have to do. We keep treating Hamas, the Gazans, the Palestinians as children. They had 2 years in their own terms to figure it out. You guys took those people to Gaza, your civilians, other whatever, it's your problem.
Right.
You should know where they are. If you don't know where they are, it's your problem. Then tell us where they might be. We'll go look for them. Whatever it is. We keep on treating them like, oh, they might not. No, it's their problem. They're big boys. They prove to us exactly what they're capable of on October 7th when you talk about organizing, maneuvering, funding, building, the whole thing. They are very smart people. Figure it out. Bring us back that what you took from
Beautifully
us.
said.
That's it.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Smart in a sense. The ability to commit certain acts. Yeah, definitely takes some intelligence. Building those tunnels definitely is something to admire in a fucked up way.
Mm-hmm.
Smart in the sense where they allow an ideology to destroy their civilization in perpetuity, like it just doesn't end.
Mm-hmm.
That really, that's some monkey brain shit.
Look, when you talk about the ideology, Islamist ideology, or if you want to call it extreme Islamist ideology,
I don't
um,
think it's extreme. I
when
think it's actually I think it's just
yeah,
genuine.
whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, go ahead.
pure Islamic ideology. In the
Yes,
end, when
yes.
you look at, I mean, we like to look at the fights they have amongst each other and stuff, but when you look at the overall, the amount of land they control, the amount of people they have, the control they have over other countries, other areas, Europe, North America, South America. Now they're expanding even to Asia. I mean, again, we should not underestimate how smart and efficient not only Palestinians, Arab as a nation are.
Mhm.
We in Israel underestimated Hamas because, like I said, I look at them, they're killing each other, all they do is bombs. And then we saw how organized they are, how much information intelligence they can gather, how much funding, how much they can build, how much they can. The whole thing, I mean, the whole spectrum of just the attack on October 7th, just itself, is spectacular. Everything they did afterwards, organizing the information, is spectacular. Same thing with the Arab nation. We should not underestimate how smart, how organized, how efficient they are. I mean, in the end, look at the results.
Mhm.
So we can criticize every single day the amount of massacres and wars that they have and how most of the people live in poverty. But when you look at the results on the ground, they are achieving a lot. So I wouldn't underestimate.
Interesting. No, no, no. This is an interesting perspective. This is an interesting perspective. I do think though it comes down to Israel's inability to finish. I had this guy Yishai Fleischer on my show. Have you heard of this
Mm-hmm.
guy? Okay, so
Yeah, the guy from Hebron.
yes, wonderful guy. So I had him on my show once. He's about to come on my show again on the 17th. We really see eye to eye on this, man. Like we really align on this sort of thing. And because I have a lot of family in Yudav Shimon, most of
Mm-hmm.
them live there. So he give me one moment to remember
Go
what I
ahead.
was saying. Um, oh, okay. When it comes down to fighting wars, what does Israel have such a tendency to do? We do an incredible job fighting our enemies. We have the enemy on its knees, and right where we can deal the final blow, American pressure, international pressure says, no, 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 no. You can't defeat your enemy. Give them a hard enough beatdown so they get the point for now, and then we'll worry about them later when they have enough strength to attack you again. So we're constantly in this cycle. We're about to fucking finish the job, right? We're about to defeat Hamas, or we're about to be in a position where we can claim some whatever we have an opportunity to like seal it, to really put ourselves in a position for the betterment of both sides, by the way. And America goes, no, you can't claim sovereignty. We made a deal with Qatar. Meanwhile, Qatar is funding Hamas. So it's like America is it's like I gave this analogy on my podcast the other day. It's wonderful that you bought me $100,000 Mercedes, but the brakes don't work. So now when I'm driving 80 miles per hour on the highway, I need to come to a stop. I'm going to end up driving over the shoulder or whatever. I end up flying down a hill and now You know what I'm saying? Like we
100%.
have serious problems now. I spoke to Amir Avivi the other day, a couple of weeks ago. We need to get off of American funding. Is it tough? Yes. Is it scary? Yes. Is it going to be easy? No. But it's got to happen at some point because if we rely on funding and we now have to listen to America basically dictates that we have to do or not do certain things that ultimately are not in our interest. Yes, does the war end? I guess, but it's going to end. We'll end
Not
up in
really.
another war. We're going to
The
end up.
battle
I mean,
finished, the war didn't end.
we're going to end up. First of all, it's far from over right now. We're
Mhm.
just in this weird stalemate. But if we inevitably, if we pull out of Gaza completely, Hamas or another similar group is going to rearm. We'll end up with rockets on steroids and all over the country in a matter of weeks, if we're lucky. What did it give us? I mean, yeah, it gave Trump. Trump gets to say he ended a war. I mean, at the end of his
Yeah.
term, because at the end of the, he's not getting reelected. Think about. Let's be pragmatic about this. In the grand scheme of things, I don't really think Trump gives that much of a shit.
He
Why?
doesn't.
Because in his mind, I support the guy, meaning as opposed to Biden or Kamala or any of that. I like Trump
100%.
for many reasons as an American
Mhm.
president. But do you think he really gives that much of a shit?
No.
No. So, so
People in the extremes tend to say either he hates Israel, he love. I mean, he doesn't either. He has a certain interest, things that he wants, and he's going to get them through Israel. If he's going to get them by letting Israel win or through the plan or whatever, I mean, he's not. Israel winning, surviving doesn't really. He will sleep the same way if Israel survives or doesn't.
a
It
hundred
depends what he
percent.
can get out of it. So, and we should play with it. I mean, it's a political game. You're wasting American funding. In the end, also Israel is a little island, and it's a very small place, so we cannot have make our own resources to create our own weapons. We need international commerce to survive. So either if it's America or any other country, I mean, before 1967, we survived with other countries. Most
Yeah,
of
but John, we
our good
can
relation,
we
yeah,
can we do have the ability to manufacture more in-house than we do. Like we can be a lot more
manufacture,
self.
yeah, but we don't have the raw materials to make it. In the end, we do need outs. I mean,
Yeah, but we could do
when
that
you
through
look for,
trade and bartering and selling. We already export so many. Instead of relying on the US, which then puts limits on who we can trade with, who we can sell to, who we can buy from, that 3 billion comes with immense limitations. And then
Mhm.
we put all our eggs in one basket with the United States. We can do very little with other countries. That 3 billion needs to go back into the US economy, back into the US military industry. And then we end up as a proxy of the United States, which forces their hand on us because they see us, they know we're a winning country.
Mhm.
We're an innovative country, we're a smart country, we're not this barbaric we're not Sudan. We are a very strong, powerful, tiny little country.
Yeah,
And from a perspective of winning, America wants to win. America wants to remain the strongest country on planet Earth. Who better to align with than a country that we're Jewish people. We're easily swayed. We're merciful. They can twist our hand when they need to. We're not some crazy dictatorial
you're
theocratic
100%
Muslim
correct.
country. And so the Jewish people, they're smart, they're strong, but we're bigger than they are. If we need to, we can get them to listen if we really need to. Yeah, they might the Mossad might go behind our back when they really need to, if they really need to kill somebody. But for the most part, we have an alliance, and this way, if as long as we can keep the Middle East weak enough, and we give Israel just enough to keep it alive, just to keep it strong enough so it doesn't
Hmm.
get destroyed, we're happy. But from our perspective as Jews, as Israelis, it puts us in a very bad predicament because we end up in this constant vicious cycle where our people are kidnapped. We have to exchange terrorists. The terrorists kidnap more people. We have to exchange more terrorists, more kidnap, more more wars, more 18-year-old beautiful souls keep dying in wars. More
Yeah, the
Palestinians die
mentality
as a
should
result.
change. The mentality should change. Even people here in Israel are already talking. Well, the next hostage could be your. Why are we talking about the next hostage? Why are we? What, why do we have the option on the table that a next hostage, I mean, why are we not acting in a manner that would not have a next hostage be possible? Why do we keep just accepting the fact that there's going to be a next hostage? 100%. When you're talking about our aid
So well
to
said.
our thing within the United States, 100%. We used to have leaders that looked at Israel more like a long-term, big picture thing. Because right now politics are more, let's do whatever is needed to get voted again every 4 years. But in the beginning of Israel, let's say like the first 20 years, okay, even Golda Meir, how she dealt with the Israeli hostages in front of the UN and the US, she said, no, I'm not going to give them any aid, anything, until they give back all of our hostages. And that's how she acted. People say, well, because that was Egypt and that's a nation, and Hamas is not a nation state, it's not a nation actor, I don't know how you say this in English. It's different, whatever it is. Our mentality, like you said right now, is very short term. Let's just put out this fire and then we'll deal with the next one. No, we understood with the past 19 years of letting Gaza do its own thing, exactly what their intentions are, exactly what they think about us, exactly the leaders that they want for themselves. And now with the new polls that came out just a few weeks ago, we know exactly what they think about October 7th and everything. That's it. If we have the option and the ball, we should just finish with this ideology that wants to annihilate us. There's a very good example of the Marshall Plan. You know the Marshall Plan?
Yeah.
So for the audiences who don't know, the Marshall Plan was basically the plan after World War II to, let's say, re-educate Nazi Germany and
Germany.
Imperial Japan. People tend to overlook because we talk about the Nazis, but Imperial Japan is a much better example to what we have right now with Hamas, because the Japanese were much more extreme in their ideologies than Germans. I mean, if you think about it, during Imperial Japan, the emperor was the sun, he was the god. People would literally kill themselves, the kamikazes,
Kamikazes, yeah.
for the ideology, for the war, for the emperor. I mean, they were in the amount of how they believe in their ideology the same as extreme like Hamas that we have now. The Germans voted on this guy and they liked him and they believed him, but it wasn't such a this person is a god like extreme Islamists or Imperial Japan. And we saw how that nation changed, because we basically said, okay, now that you said, now that you have your hands up, you don't want to fight anymore, now you no more weapons, we are going to change your education, and things started to change. And the same thing should have done in Gaza, for example. Once we get Hamas to a place where they have their hands up, or say, okay, you know what, I give up whatever it takes, then we say, great, now let's change how you built Gaza, how you educated Gaza. The way you educated Gaza obviously didn't work up until now for the past 19 years. You keep on teaching kids that killing yourself is the best thing in the world, that being a martyr, then no, it doesn't work anymore. We should teach kids to just coexist, to be happy with what you have and want to build your nation more than destroy the other one. I think that's what we should have done, and we still should do, because right now we just accepted this the main reason Israel accepted this 20-point peace plan is because it had in it the fact that we would get all of our hostages back and Hamas would disarm.
Mm-hmm.
We're a few weeks into the agreement and none of those have happened. We don't have all of our hostages back, and Hamas is saying that they're not going to disarm. So why are we still going with this peace plan? We're obviously just unilaterally doing this peace plan, and we're just letting Hamas rearm itself and regroup itself. In my opinion, we should say, fuck it, let's just go back in. I'm sorry, United States, I'm sorry, Trump, this is not working. You're saying it's not working. I'm sorry, Qatar and Egypt. You guys are not doing this. You guys are not getting in the middle. Then we need to take charge for our own people and our own future. But right now, we don't have any leaders like we used to have that would take that matter into their own hands. So I think that is one of the main problems.
100%. First of all, you had when you mentioned Japan, I just wanted to say that as much as you can use that as a good example of de-radicalization, we have a very unique story with Israel, because Israel is the birthplace of monotheism, and this is a deeply rooted religious, age-old conflict. And I think that it's different because much of the Muslim world is will not willingly, the key word is willingly, will not willingly accept Jewish rule in Israel. They need to have no choice. So the idea of offering some sort of dialogue to say, well, if we create some sort of agreements, then maybe they'll accept it because it'll seem like a good idea. No, no, no. Israel needs to be super clear on certain things that help the Muslim world understand this isn't worth it. It's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And hopefully
100%.
the right, with the Abraham Accords, I hope that without America, these countries would still feel this way. They would say, listen, the Jewish people have made it very clear through their strength and unity that it's not worth fighting them, at least for any foreseeable future. They seem to be very deeply rooted. It's not something that they kind of believe is some hodgepodge fairy tale. It's very, very serious and important to them.
100%. Hmm.
And we honor that because they're being true to themselves. There's something in Arab and Muslim honor where they can at least respect that. You see how they don't respect Europe because Europe is they've lost that.
Hmm.
If Europe returns to its Christianity, the Muslims will very quickly get in line because they'll honor it. This is human nature. It's human nature. It's not as complicated as we try to make it. Be true in your Judaism and your Jewish values. Other groups will respect it. Be true in your Christianity. Be
100%.
true in your Islam.
100%.
This is what the world needs to come back to. It's not that we should all be a bunch of religious fanatics. Very much the opposite. I believe that if the world returns back to its people return back to their identities, but they also have a love and a respect for other groups, that's really where you have this beautiful, like this equilibrium. I'm not going to
Hmm.
sit here and say there's no utopia. We don't live in a utopian world. Can't say there won't be any violence, any terrorism, any extremism. Sure, but I think we could come to a place on planet Earth where things can be pretty great.
Hmm.
You know?
Dude, 100%. And I want to add to what you said about the Arab world. Israel should have very clear red lines. If you do this, this will happen, and that should be a unbroken promise. Like you said, you attack us, this will be the result every single time. Doesn't matter.
It has to be
But also,
very, very, it has to be a very harsh thing. It can't be,
exactly, it should.
well,
Yeah. No, no, no. It
no,
should
it's
be a
like,
red
for
line.
example,
No, it shouldn't be like a blurred out border. No, no. This every single time. But
taking
also,
land, not
we should
giving it back.
have,
Yeah.
yeah. But also, we should have on the other end, I don't know, a green line or a reward to, like saying, if you treat us badly, bad things will happen. But if you treat us good, good things will happen. And we're because
Yes, dude.
for
Yes.
example,
Yeah.
I mean, it's human nature. It's mammal. Okay, mammal nature. I have a dog. Okay, that he came to me when he was a year and a half old, and he was very problematic, very aggressive towards other dogs. And after 3 trainers, finally I brought somebody who managed to make him calm, and the dog that a lot of my followers like to see on social media. Now he's happy, he's calm, because we had very clear every time he did something bad, we had to punish him a certain way to understand this is not good. Well, when he showed good behavior, we reinforced it. And that works with humans, works with everybody. It's called conditioning in English.
Well, we have
So
positive reinforcement and negative
positive
reinforcement.
reinforcement, exactly. So what we're seeing right now with the Arab Accords, Saudi Arabia and many other countries are saying, okay, maybe working with Israel could be better for our countries. We are trying to get away from this Iran kind of mentality that only the Islam and go through Sharia law, and maybe try to go with the ages, with the years, and advance instead of being stuck in the 18th, 19th century. And on the other hand, you have Iran that's saying, no, we're staying in this mentality and we're going to destroy Israel. So everybody wants to destroy Israel will get destroyed. And everybody who wants to work with us will have a better life. 100%. I don't think we should go on a war with all of the Arab world. You want to be with us? You want to coexist with us? Amazing. Your country will just go up from here on end. You want to attack us, you want to annihilate us, you will be annihilated. I think we should start setting those very clear lines. It's not only attack and only annihilate, it's both. This is why you should be just, because, I mean, nobody wants to be in a perpetual state of war forever. We would like to just coexist with our neighbors, with everybody, with the Arabs, Europeans, everybody. We would love to just coexist and help each other. So we should go this way. You want another way? Okay, we have a package for that too.
Yeah.
But we highly suggest you go this way.
It's much simpler this way, man, because when you don't set clear boundaries, the boundaries get pushed and they get taken advantage of, and then you end up the truth is both sides, your own side and the enemy's side end up in a worse predicament because
Mm-hmm.
if there's no clear victor, then you essentially have these constant battles and they never end. And
Mm-hmm.
neither side is in a better position. And
Yep.
sometimes and oftentimes you gotta have a winner, a clear winner, and a clear loser for the point to get to be made.
Yeah.
And
These
this is
ceasefires, these hudnas are just smearing more. This. I mean, there's a reason why the Arabs are still fighting the 1948 war, and most of them say that because there wasn't just a clear, decisive win. They keep
oh,
on
it's
trying
our
to fight
fault,
the same war.
John. It's our fault, bro. Like it's so much our fault, and we don't want to admit it. Like it comes so there's so many stories that have come out. I think Mansour might have spoken about this. I think this might have come from Mansour, or maybe it was someone else. But basically, there was supposedly um, I can't remember who it was, but he spoke to some Arab Muslim guy, and maybe it was Yishai. It might have been Yishai. But anyway, he said this Arab guy says to him, when the Jews won the 48 war, why didn't you take Al-Aqsa? You believe that you were supposed to build the temple, but you just didn't want to take Al-Aqsa. I mean, you said it's your holiest site. The Muslims conquered it. Why would you not do it? If you're gonna do it, do it. But the reality is from we have to acknowledge that this is a religious conflict at the end of the day. If we're not going, it's so clear.
Look,
The Muslim
because
world
the
is like, well, guys, if you're not gonna do what you say you're supposed to do, then we're gonna take the opportunity we're gonna take every opportunity to not let you accomplish your goal so we
mhm.
can accomplish ours. And
Look, the
the
main problem
only
is that.
way, yeah,
Sorry, finish.
no, no, no. Well, another thing I wanted to say, another point, this definitely came from Yishai. Yishai was talking to somebody, some Arab guy in Judea and Samaria, and he said Yishai said to this Arab guy, it's Jewish land. It says this in the Quran. It's Jewish land. What are we fighting about? He's like, yes, but according to my religion, it's ours now. And if you want me as a Muslim to acknowledge that it's Jewish, force me. Force me to accept it. I'm not going to willingly agree to it. You have to force me.
100%. I
But
think
it's
it's
like if you actually think about it, it's
yeah.
it's the truth. Because
Look, it's a perfectly daily way to what I wanted to say, which is when we look at Christianity and Islam, they are missionary. You could say, I mean, maybe not. Christianity is not colonial, but Islam is more like a colonial religion. I mean, their goal is to expand to the whole world. They
Christianity
have an
also
experience.
was.
Yeah, I mean, they want to expand their ideology. They don't want to make Christian states. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
Well, it was that way, but I think Christianity had a
because for
renaissance.
example,
Christianity
Islam
kind of
has Sharia. Christianity doesn't have like a set of like nation rules that you should do they?
yeah, yeah, maybe less so, but I mean, it definitely
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a goal of proselytizing, of
Oh,
converting everybody,
100,
bringing
yeah,
everyone to
yeah,
Jesus,
no, yeah. That's
crusading
what I'm
and like,
saying. They are a missionary religion, 100%, but they might not be as nationalistic as Islam. Islam is also a missionary religion, and they're also a very colonial, nationalistic
mhm, mhm.
religion. Judaism isn't. We don't have anything in our religion saying the whole world should be Jewish. You should go out converting people. We are just our own people. You want to come and accept us and be part of us, then yeah, I mean, prove to us that you're worth coming into the religion. I mean, it's harder to join Judaism than Christianity and Islam because, I mean, we're not looking for extra people. You want to come? Prove yourself.
We
So
like our little club.
exactly. So when it comes to the
Yeah.
nation, I think that's also the thing. Our mentality is not taking land, is not ownership and getting more land as much as we're trying to be painted another way. We don't have a colonial mindset while our neighbors do. So when we fight wars, we always get to the conclusion where, okay, did we get to a place where we're kind of comfortable? That's it. We want to just sit down and do our own thing. And they're thinking, oh, they just stopped halfway. So let's continue on our struggle to keep pushing them away. And I think that's part of the mentality that we're just not getting. The Jews that came and built this country understood that. I mean, I think the War of Independence, the 1948 War, is a great example, okay? Our haters love to talk about Plan Dalet. You know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, so Plan Dalet was the plan where David Ben-Gurion basically said, okay, now every single Arab village that is fighting against us, we're going to empty.
Wipe it.
But
Yeah.
Daled is D, is four. There was plan Aleph, Bet, and Gimel during the 15, 20 years beforehand. They were all defensive plans. And Plan Daled didn't come in the beginning of the civil war in 1947 or the war. It came time later when the Arabs were winning the war. I mean, the Arabs already had Jerusalem cut off, the Galilee cut off. I mean, the Jews were losing. We're about to lose the war. And that's when David Ben-Gurion and the IDF and those groups say, you know what? Well, being defensive doesn't work anymore. We can't just defend our own. We should go on the offensive. And that was a turning point for the Independence War. Same thing happened more or less in 1967. After, I think it was the third time where the Arab nations were trying to annihilate us one by one, we said, okay, that's it. We cannot fight this defensively anymore. We're going on the offensive. And ever since 1967, up until maybe lately, or maybe even not, depending how you want to see it, there wasn't a major war where Arab nations tried to annihilate Israel. Maybe some militias in Lebanon and in Syria and stuff, but I mean, Lebanon didn't try to invade Israel. Jordan didn't try to invade Israel. Egypt didn't try to invade Israel. That stopped once we said, you know what, that's it. We're going on the offensive. And ever since, we haven't had a war where we went on the offensive until October 7th. We started going on the offensive and we stopped. We stopped halfway because we said, you know what? We got a good deal now where we can get Hamas to disarm and our hostages back.
Well,
But
it's
no,
it's largely because Daddy Trump is going to ensure that nobody can really harm us. Like, well, even if it gets somewhat bad, we can always run to Daddy Trump, and Daddy Trump will make sure that our enemies calm down, you know?
yeah.
Daddy Trump, they're attacking us again. We don't want to be in another war. Can...
It's it's
Well,
it's whatever the
I
reason we
think
will put to it. Right now, it's it's a good impression. Right now, it might be Trump, but it's like you said, we should look inward. It's our mentality that we just keep on accepting the fact that we just want to coexist and live peacefully, but we cannot do it as long as we keep repeating the same mistake. And when we look at what worked in 1948 and 1967, is going on the offensive until a decisive win. And we just don't do that anymore. And we should go back to that because a lot of people are afraid. Maybe what will the world say? And even leftists here in Israel, you want a long-term solution. You want long-term peace. You should end the people who are trying to end you, and then make peace with those who want to make peace with you. It doesn't work halfway.
You see, John, I just spoke to this. Do you know Talia? She goes by It's Talia on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay, so we just
she's
great.
skyrocketing. She
She's
decided a
amazing.
few
Yeah.
months ago to actually post. I mean, she started posting in the beginning of the war, but just I think 2 months ago she started posting more like weekly, daily. She
Yeah,
went
she's
from like
about to hit
5,000.
100,000. She's almost at
She went from
100,000. She said.
5,000 to 100,000 in like two, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, she's at 97,000. She's going to be at probably 100K in a couple of days.
She's the Israel's and the advocacy's next celebrity.
She's amazing. She's amazing. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
great. We agree. We agreed on like everything. It was great. And just
Mhm.
as I was thinking, as I was having points that I wanted to tell her, she was like telling them to me before I even. It was just like it was such a good pro-Israel chemistry. It was awesome. So she we were talking about leftists, and she made such a good point that these decisions and these ideas need to be thought logically. And it's going to sound so redundant, but hear me out here. The problem with so many with leftist Jews, okay, and again, I'm creating this label, but such a large percentage of Jews on the left is that they want to think in what sounds good, what feels good, how can my empathy solve the conflict? None of that works. You need to put your empathy to the side. You need to think about what is best for your people and best for your country.
Hmm.
Worry about the enemy later. Worry about the enemy's civilians afterward. As far as I'm concerned, until your people are safe, the enemy's civilians and the well-being of the enemy is unimportant. And it's something that we have to like. If you go and you look up just put in carpet bombing of Dresden on YouTube, you'll see real footage of the United States bombing the absolute fuck out of Germany. It's
Hmm.
nuts.
Yeah, you just had
Nuts.
planes that just opened their
Emptied,
hatches and just bombs would fall down, not aiming at that. That is actual carpet bombing.
dude, emptied the entire plane of bombs, and you just see land masses just being blown to bits, just absolutely wiping out entire cities. It's crazy. And
Hmm.
in the comments, you hear people like, well, that's what had to happen. Oh, well, that's where we have the freedoms. Like all these Americans are just talking about like, well, they fucked around and all these different and it's like, I don't want that to happen in the modern age. I don't want that to have to exist. But if the Gazans knew that that if they did October 7th, that could be a possibility, I really, really don't think they would be very quick to make such a decision. It doesn't matter how extreme their Islam is. It doesn't matter how ideological they are. If they knew Israel would be willing to empty its fucking cargo on Gaza,
Hmm.
that threat alone would very possibly, I think, would absolutely
Yeah.
avoid that altogether. And it's like sometimes there just needs to be such a clear red line that we don't even end up in the situations we're in now. It's because we allow these lines to we don't set clear lines. We don't set clear boundaries. That's the problem.
100%. Look, you talk about the left and the right. In a more generalizing, redundant way to look at it is the right is factual, the left is emotional. And in the end, you need
Right.
both sides to talk and to get to decisions. You cannot just have a purely emotional conversation or just purely factual conversation.
That's a fair
Sometimes
point.
one needs
That's
to
a fair
lead
point.
the other depending on the issue. I think, in my personal opinion, when we're talking about, like you said, an enemy that wants to wipe you out, we should be more factual than emotional, 100%. But you need both to actually get to reasonable solutions. And when you talk about Dresden and even the atomic bomb, the only reason we're talking about it like we are right now is because we saw the result and it worked. Because there's no more Nazi Germany and no more Imperial Japan doing the horrible things that they did to their own people, to the Chinese, to all of Europe. That was finished. Because if the atomic bomb didn't work and Japan would continue on fighting, we would talk about the atomic bomb like the biggest massacre in the history of humankind. But we talked about it the way that we do. I mean, we have a conversation about it because it worked. Same thing with the carpet bombing in Dresden. We're having a conversation about it because it worked. Maybe we have other tools to do things in Gaza, but the overall point that you set up, a real a concrete red line should be put. If you do this to us, this should happen. I don't think carpet bombing should be the solution, but some sort of
No, I don't.
very harsh response, 100% should be. Right now, I've been, I told you I
By
have
the
a
way, I do.
podcast and
I'm
I
just
have,
gonna say, John,
yeah.
the last thing I want Israel to do is carpet bomb anybody.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that
But
you
because
did,
people,
but we should start
but I
talking about
will
a very
say,
harsh response.
no, no, but I will say that if Hamas stays in power and says we're going to commit October 7th, then I would be pro our government saying we'll fucking bomb the absolute shit out. Like you guys we were talking about how we were dropping leaflets. No, no more leaflets. We decided to be dumb enough to keep you in a position of power. You ain't, if you think you're gonna try another October 7th, we're gonna make the last war look like a joke. We're giving you that option. We're letting you know. You're adults, right? Like you said in the beginning, you're adults. You have the opportunity. You decided to use all that money for tunnels.
Exactly.
You made decisions, and you have a choice to make now. You have a choice. If that choice is not to heed the warning that we're giving you a warning. You choose to ignore the warning and do what you want to do anyway. There are going
Yeah,
to have to be
exactly.
consequences.
And also
Like
another
we,
mistake is the fact, like, even us right now, we're saying Hamas. The war is with Gaza, is with Gazans, because what? The Palestinian Islamic Jihad is not in Gaza. The Popular Front is not in Gaza. The 2,000 civilians who came into Israel, they're Hamas? No, they're Gazans. Like we're saying, it's Israel and Gaza. It's not the IDF and Hamas, because once we differentiate between Hamas and Gaza, then we need to be the ones taking charge of the rest of the population, instead of, like you're saying, treating them as grown-ups, as a state. You are the governing body of that area, of that region. You have been controlling it economic-wise, education-wise, military-wise. This is your little state. Then you open a war against us, then we're going on a war against you. All of that leaflet and the fake bombs and calling, it's nice and all. Like you're saying, we should do whatever we can to save as many civilian lives and lives that don't have to do with the military as possible. But in the end, there should be a line where we say, this is not our responsibility. You, as a state, country, region, whatever you want to call yourself, are attacking us, and you are opening a war against us. You have a responsibility to your own civilians. We are going to fight a war to ensure that we don't get massacred again by you, your state, country, region, whatever you want to call it. And that's it. You take a responsibility to, because also the Gazans are the ones choosing where to fight. We're not the ones choosing. You want to fight from this place? We'll go there. We'll fight over there. You're choosing where to fight. You want to fight from amongst your civilians? It's your responsibility. You want to make a base in a neighborhood? It's your responsibility. There's a whole bunch of open space in Gaza. Talk to any single Israeli soldier, Israeli who went to Gaza. They say when you enter, there's all these open fields and then you get to the cities. You can have the bases and everything in the fight over there. You can set your missile launchers over there. It's your choice. You're choosing where to fight, deal with it.
Right.
Doesn't mean we should just carpet bomb the missile launcher and everything around it. But if you fire a missile, we will fire back exactly what our missile launcher is. I think there should be a line where we say, that's it. We're fighting a war that you are choosing to fight. Not we're fighting a war with a certain group and we are taking care of the rest of this. No.
It's so dumb. Yeah, it's so dumb. Yeah, it's not how it's because it's not this stupid Hasbara bullshit
It's the
because we don't want the
Israel-Gaza
world to.
war. It's
Yeah,
Israelis versus Gazans. Does that mean that it's all Israelis and all Gazans? No. But when you say the war with the United States and Iraq, it doesn't mean all Americans and all Iraqis.
right.
You know, it's just how you phrase every other war in the world, because you're fighting a governing body of a country or region or state, whatever you want to call it, against us. Doesn't mean that every single Israeli is in the war, but it's the Israeli government, the Israeli army.
Yeah. No, it's
You know what I'm saying?
it's one people versus another people to simplify it, man. It is.
Exactly.
It doesn't like, oh well, there are some Gazans that hate Hamas. Congratulations. That doesn't solve
And there's a lot
anything.
of Israelis who hate the IDF.
Yeah, that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve anything. It's
Exactly.
not how you solve. It's not how you win a war and solve and bring peace. It doesn't work that way.
We should start treating the Gazans and the Arabs in Judea and Samaria as adults. You make your own choices. You make your own choices for decades now. You should start suffering the repercussions.
Right.
Not only that, I think I forgot who talked about it. There's a guy who's an expert on urban warfare, Spencer, John Spencer,
Yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah,
something Spencer, and he
I
talked
believe
about
it's
like one
John
of the,
Spencer. I think so.
yeah. I
Well,
think he was
yeah.
one who talked about the fact that the UN tried to make rule where you could not attack urban areas, something like that. Now, the intention is very good, but he said that's the biggest mistake you can make. Why? Because then all of the other militaries that don't give a fuck about human rights will put their shit in urban areas because you have a rule that you cannot attack. So we're going to take
Advantage.
advantage of that rule. Same thing with the Israeli war. We keep on treating these the civilians in urban places like holy places. We cannot attack. We should do everything to prevent it. So the enemy says, "Oh yeah, so we're going to take our military over there." It's a negative, positive reinforcement. I don't know how to call it.
It's
Because
just
they're
plain
learning.
stupid. It's just we're
They're
losing, and
learning.
it's
So
it
I
is so
think,
retarded. It is so
yeah,
absolutely
it's the same
retarded.
conversation as the atomic bomb. Did the atomic bomb killing, how many people died with atomic bomb? I don't know,
A few
tens of
hundred
thousands,
thousand
hundreds of
people.
thousands,
A few hundred
200,000 people
thousand people.
died. Some people say that that prevented more deaths than the calculated amount of deaths that could have happened until the end of the war, and it was less deaths with atomic bomb than without atomic bomb. So in a way, it's safe play. You can also look at this logically. It's a horrible logic, but it's an option that we should at least discuss.
Mhm.
If Israel starts treating Gaza as a region, as a nation, as a state, and not separate the actors, like we said before, maybe that would prompt actors like Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and all those armies and militias to not use civilian areas as military places because they would simply see it doesn't work because we keep on getting attacked, because the media doesn't care, because right now, why are they going there? Because they know that the amount of dead bodies will prompt international pressure to make Israel stop the war, because Israel will not attack those places, because of many reasons. I mean, only positive for them. So maybe if they don't get those positive reinforcements for using human shields, they would stop. I don't know. It's just an idea.
No, you're right, but it's also that we're treating these groups as true, partners for negotiation, and we're expecting them to act in the same rule of law, right? In the same way
Mm-hmm.
you know, a civilized society would. They don't operate in that fashion. So, you know, but
Yeah,
most of these issues, man,
100%.
come from us. Most of these issues come from us. The thing is it's not that we need to be more brutal. It's that we need to threaten to be. Like we need to threaten that if you do this, this happens. Not if you do this, this happens. Oh well,
Really?
not actually. We're not
Actually,
actually
because
going
I
to do
think
that.
up until now we've been threatening a lot and we don't do it. I mean, even in the disengagement, okay, when you go back to 2005, the Israeli ministers and the prime, everybody who was defending the disengagement, we will disengage. And the first missile that the Gazans sent to Israel, we will wipe them out. I think it was September 12th was the day that the last Israeli footstep step out of Gaza. That same evening, 2 rockets were sent to Israel. Same
Eh,
evening. I think a few weeks after was the first time Hamas attacked Israel. And what happened? Oh, no, it's just the two of us let it happen. Same thing. Same thing right now with this war. Hamas will no longer stay in power, will annihilate, and what happened? So
because
we
the
are threatening a
U.S.
lot. We're saying a lot of things. We're just not keeping with our threats. That is
Yeah,
exactly. Trump said, if Hamas doesn't return the hostages this day, Israel can go and bad things will happen. How many times did he say that? Too many times. So, you know, there's a point where we don't believe anymore.
you can all connect this to even other examples such as parenting, right? You tell your kid, I'm going to give you to the count of three, and if you don't get up or if you don't stop doing that, this is what happens. You count to three, you don't do shit. Your kid's going to look at you and be like, where's that threat you said you were gonna, where's
Yeah.
that punishment? Because I
So
don't see
next time
nothing.
you're going to count to three, they will just keep doing whatever they're doing.
Exactly. And then three becomes 10. Yeah, I've seen this
Mm-hmm.
before. Like I worked as a waiter
But
for many
see,
years,
in
and
a
I've
psychological
seen like these
manner,
parents,
in a
huh?
psychological manner, we're still putting Hamas as children. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? We
No,
cannot
we still
escape it.
pull. When we get to three, you better do that. We end up by number six, and Hamas is like, so that thing you said you were gonna do, oh, you're not doing it. Oh, okay, great. And then we're like,
Hmm.
but no, 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 we didn't do it the first time, but like this second time, I'm telling you, when we count to three, you better. Second time comes around, shit. Third time, fourth time, fifth time. Maybe the couple, maybe by the time we get to seven, there's a little bit of a punishment. But then
So we
eventually
threaten
they
a lot.
realize
We just don't. We're just not good on our threats.
no, the reality is listen, Israel dealt a heavy blow to Gaza, infrastructure wise, and Gaza got hit really hard. The problem is when it comes down to the most fundamental part of it, which is again having a very clear and decisive victory. We didn't do that. We fought this super drawn out war. We accomplished a lot in the past 2 years, but if we don't have decisive victories, Hezbollah will rearm, the Houthis will rearm, Iran, they're already doing it. So what did we really accomplish? We showed our enemies that we're capable of doing certain things, but we don't do
They
them.
don't care.
It doesn't matter.
I forgot who it was. I think it was Kidal, another Israeli in the beginning of the war. So
Kadar
he
is
said,
fantastic. Yeah.
I think he was the one who said in the beginning that if in the end of this war there is one Hamas member on the top of a Mizgad with just one arm and one finger pointing up,
It's a victory.
we lost the war.
Yep.
And it's today we have. Doesn't matter how much you destroy Gaza. Doesn't matter how much you destroy the infrastructure. You still have Hamas in power. You still have Hamas armed on the streets. You lost the war. I
Mhm.
mean, this blow might have worked if we're talking about a Western country. That might have prompted them to say, you know what? Okay, we just want to live in peace. Peace. We give up. Not Hamas, not the Gazans. They
Mhm.
will just continue on because their ideology is for martyrdom, for the nation of Israel. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have set a very heavy blow, but as long as that mentality continues on happening, if you want to look small picture, Gaza, if you want to look bigger picture, Iran and its tentacles, as long as Iran keeps on doing that, we're going to keep fighting. Unless we stop Iran, this is not going to end. Because I mean, we have a very we had a very heavy blow to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to many organizations. Now they're getting propped up again. Iran found new ways to get to southern Lebanon. That's not through Syria. Chile. Sorry, my dog is over there.
No, it's okay.
So that's one of the bigger problems. If Hezbollah had the hit that we did, and they didn't have any more fuel being pumped to them, maybe there would be the beginning of the end for Hezbollah because they would just wither away.
Right.
But you had a very heavy blow, and then you have somebody just come and revive them and pump them again, then we're going to get the same cycle. So
All it
unless,
takes is a new bold Hezbollah leader and the ability to smuggle and get new weapons. And if the
Mhm.
Lebanese government doesn't control them before they get too strong again, eventually, if Israel doesn't like keep them, doesn't get rid of Hezbollah's ability to regroup, because we can't rely on the Lebanese army. What kind of bullshit is that?
No.
They're not going to do nothing. We could rely on them to help us.
After the Second Lebanese War, we had the whole resolution. What was it? 1021, something like that. With the UN that southern Lebanon would be disarmed without Israel, without Hezbollah, with UNICEF, and you saw exactly what happened. UNICEF was just right next to Hezbollah, next to their tunnels, next to the bases, and they did nothing. Now, after the last war, we said the same thing. Southern Lebanon completely disarmed without Israel, without nothing. So Hezbollah is just starting to arm themselves on the northern part of the Litani River. And right now we have Israel attacking those locations because the army of Lebanon is doing nothing. The government of Lebanon is doing nothing, unless you want to tell me that they are pro-Hezbollah and they also want to annihilate Israel. Then we should treat this as a war with the country of Lebanon and not Hezbollah,
100%.
the group in Lebanon. Then yeah, I mean, I think
I think it's
to begin
mixed.
with, that's how we should have treated it.
I think it's mixed. I just think that much of the Lebanese government doesn't have the balls, even if they wanted to. I just think Hezbollah's made a reputation for themselves, and there's also a large population. Let's not kid ourselves. I think there's a large portion of the Lebanese that support them.
Of
I
course.
think there's a weird thing in Arab culture where just because they don't want to be seen as traitors, You know, you could have like this secular Lebanese woman or this gay Lebanese dude, and he'll just support Hezbollah because that's the trendy thing to do. It's like,
Yep.
you know, I just want to, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want anyone to lynch me, attack me, spit on my sister's face, whatever it is. I'm just going to support this extremist group that I don't align with in any way, politically, religiously, etc. But that's just what everyone's doing, and I just want to stay out of trouble. Okay.
100%.
And you'll have literally like this gay Lebanese guy will be sitting there supporting Nasrallah. I
Look, when you talk about Lebanon, again, we keep on treating them like children. Lebanon is a country, is a whole ass country with a government and everything. They're their own country. If inside of their own land they have a whole army stronger than their own attacking another, it's their responsibility. They're not
right.
taking hold of it, they're not taking responsibility of it, it's their problem. So either they join forces with Israel to attack that army, or they are pro that army. They can say, oh, it has nothing to do with us, it's another group. No, it's Lebanese people inside of Lebanon attacking another
A
country.
very fair point. It's a very fair point. Yeah.
And I
You
think as
have
long
to
as we keep
if
separating the two, we'll
if
keep
you
getting the same results.
yeah, if you don't want us to if you don't want to suffer the consequences, then you have to help us get rid of this group. You have to help us fight this group. We don't want to
Yeah,
harm you either. But if you're aiding and abetting, so to
yeah.
speak,
Imagine
yeah,
if right
man, that's
now the whole Negev, okay, the whole Negev had another, like, I don't know how many brigades of the IDF just starting to attack Jordan. And we tell Jordan, oh no, sorry, attacking Egypt. We tell Egypt, oh no, no, that's not Israel. That's just, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 brigades that have nothing to do with Israel, just attacking you. Don't attack Israel, just deal with them. You think, what do you think they would say? Fuck off, we're attacking you guys. It's a whole war with Israel. Are you crazy? Why are we
only
treating it
Israel,
any
dude.
different?
Only Israel operates this way. No other countries operate. It's so funny because we're such an intelligent group of people. You know, we have so many highly intelligent people as
Mhm.
Jews. You know, and we're
Yeah,
so capable in so many. But when it comes to these crazy things, no other country operates this way.
I think I know.
No other country operates.
I'll tell you my theory why this
You know what's
is.
funny? The reason why on October 7th even happened like the way it did, not to say there aren't civil wars and problems in countries, but Hamas would have never done that to Egypt. Hamas
Mhm.
would have never done that to Egypt because Egypt would have wiped them out, dude. They would have
Exactly.
wiped them out. They know that. They would have never. That's why there's
We
such a
we are
yeah.
setting the conditions, like you said, the positive and negative reaffirmance. The reaffirmance, that's a word. Affirm, the
Oh, you're
positive
saying
affirmation.
to reaffirm something?
Before we talked about like a positive affirmation and negative affirmation, like when
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
does
yeah.
something, forgot the word. We are setting those boundaries, like you said,
Oh,
because Egypt
reinforcement? Is that what you're saying?
reinforcement. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, because they know that if they go to Egypt, Egypt will wipe them out. They know if they attack Israel, Israel won't wipe them out because we are setting those rules. We are setting those expectations towards our enemies. And we cannot have any more. And I think there's two main reasons for that. First of all, is like we said, politicians today are just thinking short term. We have 4-year terms, and politicians are just thinking to get reelected. So they want to just put out fires without making people upset. And the second thing is the fact that I think after 67 we had like a few more smaller wars and stuff, but like the bigger Israel annihilating wars ended, basically. I mean, there wasn't such a big war of all of the countries again coming into Israel. And Israel saw like an economic boom in the 70s, 80s, 90s. We had the talks about Oslo, we had peace talks. So you have a whole generation of people that grew up in this amazing utopia where we are the best country in the world, we're the strongest, we're on our way to peace, everybody love. And those people right now are the leaders of the government, of the IDF, of the Mossad, of the police, of everything. So when you have leaders that keep on having this misconception that, oh, if you give Hamas money, they will leave us alone. Yeah, everybody wants to live and coexist. We just need to do this and this and this. No, that's not what they say they wanted from 1948 and now. That's not what they're saying they want now. So when you have leaders in the beginning of Israel that saw how what the Arabs would do if they would rule here, that saw what giving a strong regime in Europe the power to do whatever they want to Jews what that will happen. That's how they acted in 1948, in the 50s, and in 67. And they led wars that would end the next wars. And now we have a whole generation of leaders that grew up in this amazing utopia, so they don't have the reality in front of their face of knowing what would happen if they act differently. So we don't have any incentive for leaders to think long term, more than 4 years. And we don't have leaders who actually think mentality-wise as we don't have another option. We don't have another, I mean, they say it. They say all these passwords across the small tele. We don't have another country, but they don't act that way. So I think
Begin
that's
comes
the
to mind.
main, those are the main two reasons why we keep on fighting these rinse without spin wars. I want to give credit to David Rebel for this phrase.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Menachem Begin comes to mind with his speech, with his famous speech. You know, he just said, you know, I don't really care what the world says, and I'm not a Jew with trembling knees.
Yeah.
It's yeah, listen. At the end of the day, certain things have to give, meaning we can keep playing this silly temporary battle game, but it's if we keep fighting wars where there aren't clear boundaries and clear, you know, moves made that may be unfortunately very, very brutal, we'll end up in a situation where we're forced to, where there is another multi-front war, that, you know, a serious war with Egypt, Jordan, Libya, Kuwait, whoever, and we're in a real existential situation. Not to say that this wasn't, not to say that these 2 years weren't existential, but it's a situation where we're actually being invaded by three, four armies, and we don't have the luxury of playing these cute little political games of, but we drop leaflets, but Piers Morgan, uh, you know, Jonathan Conrique, I think Jonathan Conrique is pretty good, but I'm just saying in general, all these Israeli politicians are going on Piers Morgan to try to, you know, but Israel's good, I'm telling you, because we notified them beforehand. But I don't think that you really cared to notify them. You really wanted to slaughter them. No, we didn't want to slaughter them. We're a good country. We're good people. I don't know if you really are, though. I'm not convinced. But we are.
That's
We
a very
well,
good English accent.
we don't want to kill them. We're good. I don't know if you are, though. I'm not. Let's
Look,
have Dan Bilzerian give his thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
look, the war is officially on the table ended, and we have the numbers, the results. And I think up until now, the death toll is around 68, 69,000, right? And last time I checked, 90,000 babies were born since October 7th until a couple of months ago. More babies were born than people that have died from all causes, because that number
yeah.
includes natural deaths and
Yep.
IDF
Yep.
and everything. I mean, Israel, you're 100% right. We keep on trying to set our stage depending on the opinion of extremists, instead of just setting a stage
We're
the way
so
we need to.
lost, man. You know why?
Because look, because even the genocide claim is the easiest thing to refute, and you have even all these Israeli advocates and people trying to work around it and respond to that. It's very, very simple. Does Israel has the means? It does. We all know Israel could just wipe out Gaza in a week, literally. Has it done so up until now? No. So we don't have the intention. That is the most logical thing. That's why people like Amnesty International and UN need to put out like 200-page reports to walk around this, to find a quote by this minister and take a specific, because they're trying to walk around the most logical thing that shows that Israel has no intention. Because if they just talk dugri and talk to the point, they will refute themselves. Because people, when they hear, yeah, but Smuttler says this, yeah, but that means that I can give you also examples of other ministers that talk differently. We cannot have discussions about the little things. This is the main reason why there's not there's no intention for genocide. We have the means, we haven't done it. That proves that there's no intention. That's it. That is a
Mm,
conversation. That's why you have idiots having to debate all the time on Piers Morgan and stuff, because we, just like we're not setting our own stage military wise, we're not setting our own stage when it comes to advocacy. We keep on responding. We keep on having to follow them. We're not setting the stage as well. And we should do that
yeah.
as well when it comes to advocacy.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Well, I'll finish this off by saying because I need sleep because I'm not going to be able to get too much tonight, but I'm gonna
Hopefully
but
so.
I'm gonna
Hopefully.
try to get a few hours. Um, we'll see what happens in the coming months. I hope the Israeli government gets the balls to at least claim sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. At least if we can do one, that's a start. I'm hearing that supposedly talks of Trump saying, well, if Israel can give good reasons why it's something they need to do, he would consider it. And I'm like, we need to wait for him to approve it. It's so fucked up. Like, we need him to tell us what we, it's like, what are we doing, man? We need to do it right now.
Mhm.
We need to do it. We need to do it, man. We need to do it. If America really gives a shit about being our ally, they'll threaten us to pull all their support and not fund us. We'll claim sovereignty and they'll support us anyway. It's a poker game. Oh, we'll pull
Mhm.
all support. No, they won't. No, they won't.
The United States needs Israel.
No, they won't. We can claim
Yeah.
sovereignty right now. America will claim that oh, it's the end of the world. Trump will be like, "Oh, I told you not to do it. You betrayed me." We'll still be allies. We'll still be
Mhm.
allies.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
and
I'm honest,
what are they
yeah.
gonna? They're gonna ally with
Look,
Turkey. They're gonna ally with
if I'm honest, we talked about a
Jordan.
solution for Judea and Samaria. I think also sovereignty is one of the options on the table, depending on the reality on the ground. But I just don't trust the current government to lead this in a smart manner. I mean, I trust this government to have the balls to start the ball rolling. But if this current government is the one leading, while we have to now annex all that territory, if you're
Hmm.
talking social wise, economic wise, military wise, I don't trust this government to be smart enough to do it. So we'll see how that goes.
Listen, if they're not gonna, if they're not going to make it great, it at least needs to be started. We got to do it, man. So the faster we do it, the better off. Better off for both sides. That's the crazy. When I say these things, it sounds like I'm only saying it's going to be better for the Jewish side or for the Israeli side. It's better for all parties.
Look,
It will it
I know you
bring?
have to
Will
go,
it?
but there's a
Yeah.
very short example I like to give. It's right now we've been living for the past I don't know how many decades a perfect laboratory experiment. You have three main areas in Israel, whatever you want to call it. You have mainland Israel, Judea and Samaria, and Gaza.
Hmm.
Gaza is 100% Palestinian, 100%. No Israelis over there. Judea and Samaria is half and half, and Israel is 100% Israeli. In Israel, Arabs and Jews have the same rights. We're thriving, we're living amazingly. In Judea and Samaria, it's half and half. You have some good cities like Hebron, some Jenin and stuff, but again, it's none of the way. And Gaza is, as you know, Gaza. It's the bottom of the food chain. So I think, I mean, and this is an experiment that has been going for at least 2 decades with Gaza and even more decades with Judea and Samaria.
Yeah, it's
It's a
it's right in front of our
laboratory
eyes.
experiment. So when Jews rule over everything, you have this results. Everybody has the same rights. Everybody lives and happily, and you have a thriving country. The more Palestinian control you have, the more towards war they go. That is the result of this laboratory experiment. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
The only thing I would say though is in Israel proper, we have a 21% Arab population, so we can't exactly take in Gazans as citizens and Judean Samaritans. So that's a little bit challenging because they wouldn't but that could be for another episode. I gotta go to sleep.
100%, man.
So we could talk about it.
Yeah.
John, thank you so much for joining me, bro. Really
Thank you so
great
much for having me,
discussion.
man. Have a
Absolutely,
good
bro.
night.
I hope you enjoyed. Ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Soothing Semantics with my guy, John Legarda. Go follow him on Instagram, Jon Legarda, not LaGuardia, not the airport, Legarda.
Thank you.
Okay. Subscribe to both of our channels. Subscribe to my YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. Um, any other social media
YouTube as
platforms?
well. I just saw YouTube.
Yeah,
So
I mentioned YouTube.
yeah, that's it.
Uh, yeah, and that's it, guys. It's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.